Hi, my name is Noshad. Some of you guys know me as Shubon and the Spurs Video Podcast. I'm very delighted to have here a Spurs forum legend who, if he's listening to Hopes and Fears under the INC with perfect symmetry, it simply isn't just because he's a fan of Keane, although he is. He's a Spurs forum legend. He is Jez Kinsella. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, man. Good to be here.
Thanks. So, the game. Do you have any fingernails left?
I don't. At 2-2, I was actually happy enough, which I know seems classically resigned. I know some of the boys in Spurs forum weren't happy, but I don't know. It's not a bad result. For me, I was kind of having a look through the remaining fixtures. A lot of football still to be played. And Chelsea have some tough games, Arsenal some tough games. It's not over yet,
No. The thing is, I was at the Basel game, and I thought Basel. I actually underestimated. I underestimated Basel. I didn't think Basel would be a walkover, but I thought compared to, because obviously we played Lyon and Inter Milan, and I didn't think Basel were just as equally strong as Inter Milan. But I said, like, on Spurs forum, I said, look, play Bale or Lennon, but that you can't play both. It's Europa League. If you won the Champions League, won the Europa League, then yes, put your eggs in that basket. But you don't, and you don't win a whole bunch of money for even winning. You don't even win a bunch of money for winning the Europa League either. Financially, the Champions League is where it's at. I hate to say it, but
that's true. I actually agree. On Thursday night, I was really, really surprised by how good a side they were. And actually, at times, it was actually like watching somebody playing Tottenham. They were fast, they were quick on the break, they got balls in the box, they were skillful. They were a very good side. It really surprised me. I hadn't seen much of them, but they were a very, very good side. Yeah,
their passing really impressed me. Their passing in the middle, where they were cutting us to ribbons at times. They're passing through the middle, and we didn't have like a pass master of equal skill. I mean, there was one moment, I don't know if you saw it on the telly, but Scotty Parker's running for the ball to get it back. And as he's running, he manages to kick it towards one of their strikers. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I don't actually remember it, but yeah, it sounds familiar, alright.
And then today, when he brought on Huddleston, look, obviously I've been a Tom Carroll nut hugger for ages, but if you looked at the quality of the passing that both him and Huddleston did, in comparison to, say, what Holtby and Sigurdsson were doing, there was a marked difference, wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree. They were quite good. Now, the only problem was, I don't think the issue was necessarily with the midfield. I think it's been the same problem as all season. A lot of the game we play, and today was the same, is that we're passing the ball about just at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
I don't know if we had any shots inside the box today. We resorted to, like, pot shots from 25 yards out. Holtby did it, Dempsey did it, Dembele did it. That's what we resorted to, I think, towards the end of the game. But did we really test Herod that much? Not really.
No,
not really.
I don't think. There were one of the things that really annoyed me was that in terms of Sigurdsson was putting in good crosses, but the way that, say, someone had blocked off, say, Lloris for the goal that was their equaliser, essentially, there was no one blocking off, say, Howard for the ball. There was no one saying, look, challenging Tim Howard. And obviously, it's very risky. If you challenge the goalkeeper too much, it's a foul on the goalkeeper. You don't get, But I think you've got to risk it. I think you have to. I don't say play Stoke style, but that's the way they do it. They will challenge the goalkeeper, make it difficult for him, and the precedent has been set. You can challenge a goalkeeper, and and I'm not saying Jagielka. He did seem to look as if he had his hands on Vertonghen's shoulders. I don't know whether it was a case of Vertonghen falling, and that's just where Jagielka had his hands, but I don't know. It was,
Vertonghen didn't really seem to appeal for it, though. I think he just accepted he was beaten on the jump. I think he was backing back a bit as well, so it made it look like he was maybe being pushed.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought about Carroll, I thought when Carroll came on, he played a couple of lovely crosses just right into the box, just on the nose. Now, it landed with Friedel in the end, but somebody in there, like the positioning, the placement was fantastic. Left foot, and it was such a breath of fresh air from Kyle Walker, just hitting balls off defenders or losing the ball or getting frustrated when he doesn't win the throw, that kind of stuff. It's tough to watch.
There was one moment in the game where I swear to God he was looking like he was going to do a handball or something. I don't know if you saw that on the touchline. I don't know he played it ball, but played it too high, and he's almost like and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to get booked for this. It was not deliberate, but it was just you can imagine another referee was going to book him and give him a yellow card for that, and it'd been a very silly yellow card. But Nah. Well, obviously, Jeremy, we all know how much your honest emotions with regards to Liverpool. They are legendary on the Spurs front. I'm gonna take a chance. I haven't asked you. We're going to talk about the Spurs Everton, Basel, and going upward. But just have a little think of it in your mind. If you have a Spurs 11 of players you've watched, not players you've heard of, you think these are the greatest players. These are players you've watched, and you really think, it's my ultimate Spurs 11. Have a little think about it, and we'll get back to you. We'll get back to it later. But have a little think about it. I just thought, because people often say, who's the greatest Spurs 11? And I mean, I've got a picture of the double winning side. I've actually met, as you know, I've actually met a couple of double winning side, but we've never actually seen them play. So who do you have? So yeah, just a thought. So Basel, I mean, you become a Tom Carroll fan. I think I've got you under my web here. I think.
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan. I'm just not sure I'd start him every game. I have only seen him in the times where he's come on. It's always been limited. He's always looked good in the ball, and of late, he's looked a much more attacking player than I was aware of. I don't think he just holds the ball up. The only thing is, again, though, is he too small? Maybe is he physical enough? It's hard to know until you see him week in, week out. He looks like a very slight player. That worries me a bit.
I mean, it would worry me, but I think, to be totally fair, we've been linked with Christian Eriksen, who is, I mean, I've seen him. He doesn't look that much bigger. I think Tom Hudson, because he's not Tom Hudson, Tom Carroll. It's because he looks about 14. He's got very much of a baby face. That's why you think he's so oh my god, he's going to be knocked around or something. But I don't know. I mean, I saw him against the Arsenal. He looked up for the challenge, and one of the things I like about him is that he does this thing where I don't know if you remember Luka Modric used to do the same trick. He'd get the ball and he'd do like a 360 spin and then toe poke it with his right foot. And I've seen Tom Carroll. I saw him do it quite a few times last season. And for me, anyone that has the confidence and the assuredness to play that is someone I think you need to keep your eye on. I think someone who I think is going to do really well. And I just think I would actually look to start him against Basel. I think at the end of the day, we've got nothing to lose. If we go out, we go out. But I think we have to go out and attack because obviously, they've got 2 away goals. And I would actually drop Parker. I just think I actually would have played Dembele, Parker, and Carroll in a 3 because obviously Bale and Lennon aren't going to be able to play, and just change it a little bit because I just thought I liked Huddleston. I thought he played some absolutely great balls, but there were moments where when he had to defend, he obviously is slow, but he looked slow off the mark, and he did try, but I just think at this level he hasn't got the pace really. What would you think?
Yeah, well, I think I agree in some respects. Parker for me is a funny one because he's kind of both players. Sometimes he's doing really well tracking back, he's breaking up play, but then he gets the ball and gives it straight away again. So you don't know what Scotty Parker. I think when he had Modric beside him, when he had somebody close to him, he was always fine. He never had to play the Hollywood pass. I say Hollywood pass, I mean like a 10-yard pass. He still seems to struggle with. But at the same time, he's a fighter. When you kind of wonder when you see players seeing Parker throwing himself into tackles, I mean, maybe that kind of stuff matters. I mean, Parker seems like one of those guys that he's a bit of a leader. Players look up to him, players see him. So I don't know if I would drop Parker. Then again, I wouldn't drop Dembele either. So I think it's tricky if you want to play Carroll, unless you want to play a midfield 3.
Yeah, that's
drop
what I'm thinking.
Dempsey and play Sigurdsson further up. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking playing 4-3-3. I think we have to go out and attack. And I thought Dempsey. I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was brilliant either. I mean, I thought for me, either Tim Howard or Addy was the man of the match for me. Because Addy, he actually, I don't know if he ate his breakfast or something, he had his Weetabix, but there was energy about him,
There was, yeah.
There was purpose to his play.
I thought he did play quite well. I think the goal in the first 30 seconds is going to help, though, isn't it? You're going to feel more confidence. You've almost done your job for the day. So you can play with a more relaxed style about him. And there was a couple of times where the ball kind of bounced off him. Something I noticed a lot in the first half, that the passing, which again kind of does go back a bit to Carroll and Huddleston, which made a difference, but in the first half there was so many chances where the ball just bounced off players and it was scrappy, it was pinball, between Holtby, even Dembele, Adebayor would just hit off their knee, would hit off the shin, and then there's a melee and an Everton player comes out with the ball. Happened quite a lot. It hasn't been the same this year, the passing. It hasn't been. Obviously Modric and Van der Vaart make the difference in that respect, of course they do. But we'd gotten away with it, I think, for quite a while, and today it was a bit of a concern. But I do still think Everton are a good side, and they showed that today, and they still have to play Arsenal and Chelsea.
But knowing our luck, they're going to... it's like this, right? With West Brom, I mean, let's just face it, look at West Brom. Is there any team that'll do its best to not give us make sure we don't get in the Champions League? I mean, last season against Arsenal, and even this season, they might have just pulled their pants down and say, look, just, adopt... I'm not going to say adopt the Campbell position, because I don't get sued, but They might as well just said, we just because I think with certain teams, once you've got the magical